Hello, hello. Welcome to the Imperfect Podcast, the podcast where we bring amazing people, perfections. Hello, Gazzella.
Hello, Ziad. Hello.
How are you today?
I'm quite good. Quite good. I spent some last weeks in which I don't feel very good, but today I feel better.
I feel so good today. You know why?
No.
Because I have you with me here. It's been a
Wow.
while. I wanted you to be.
Yeah. It was like a challenge for me, that I'm
And you,
shine.
yeah, and you're doing it brightly. You're shining on the screen, so it's amazing to have you here.
It was.
And I'm sure.
And you? You are sure?
I'm sure that it's going to be a very exciting and a very insightful episode.
It could be, but also not.
Exactly. Let's see. So, Gazzella, I'm going to very quickly introduce you in my words very quickly, but then I will ask you to do the very difficult task to present yourself in the way you want, So Gazzella, I met Gazzella a few years ago through a dear friend, Anaconda, community in northern Italy, which is a community I've been introduced to a few years ago, a spiritual community that changed my life. And Gazzella is a friend, but is also helpers, let's say. In this way, we've done a lot of sessions to try to identify emotions or beliefs that are limiting me, and you do magic, Gazzella. So, and above everything, I think Gazzella as a pure soul is you. I've never met a person that is as gentle as you, as soft also as you, but also powerful. So thank you for being here. And now the floor is yours to present yourself and whatever.
Okay. Your questions remember me the questions that Falco, the guide of my community, makes me, not only me, but all of us in the community many years ago. Ask us who you are. Who you are. And we have to write what we feel. And I remember that I wrote that I feel that I'm a piece of God. A piece of God. And I think that that is my goal in this life. I mean, that I know that we are very many parts, that inside of us there are many parts. But I'd like to identify myself, not, identify, but also to find a way to be free and identify myself with this part of me. That is my way in which I say to you what I am now, because I can say many things, but is my goal is just that. Yeah, a piece of gold that I mean that we can identify with. Inside of us there is an essence, divine essence, that you can call essence, interior divinity. You can call it or him, her. You can call higher self or something like that. And I think that if we move our attention in the part and not in the other part, is much more easy for us to connect with our mission.
Yeah, Gazzella, it's really, I've been thinking lately a lot about that, and I've been intentionally putting my attention and my focus on the positive side of me. And I've been talking to a friend, and I'm telling them the story of the wolf. Inside of us there is a black wolf and the white wolf, and to feed. And so now that you're telling me is your white wolf is a piece of gold, and I think that I'm not shocked or surprised when you say that, because I really believe you are a piece of gold. So, and I from how you react with me, how you act with me, so it's on us to decide intentionally which part to feed, and the more we feed the white part in us, the more it will become reality, and it will become so. So in fact, we can choose who we want to be, and this is not always easy to acknowledge.
Yeah, I think you too. All the people are a piece of gold.
Exactly.
The difference is just to know and have to goal, like a goal to be in and to manifest that. I think in my life, I remember that when I was young, I don't have just this idea, but when in 204 I make a course to be counselor in psychosynthesis, and my thesis, the title of my thesis of this course, that was a course of 3 years, was just how can come posso svegliarmi alla memoria interiore? How can I awake to my interior divinity? And in that thesis, I spoke that just because the thesis, the course that I made is psychosynthesis. Do you know psychosynthesis? Just a little bit. Psychosynthesis is made from one therapist, one psychiatric that called Assaggioli. Assaggioli is an Italian psychiatric that lived in the United States many years. And in his idea, the focus of his message is that we have not only problem to solve, but inside of us there is a potentiality that need to awake, need to see. And the theory is that inside of us there are many personalities, because Gurdjieff said the same things. We are many personality, and the goal of this life is to know them, to see them, to make that harmonize them and integrate them in a goal that makes that our higher self can move, can
And drive
guide.
the seat, be on the
Yeah,
driving seat.
yeah,
And this
yeah.
is the work that we've been doing together, and you helped me a lot identify my different parts. And now I'm working on making sure we know where we're going. Because now I know my different parts. I'm trying to harmonize them a little bit, but now we need to decide where shall we go,
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're wondering, we're driving up, but now I'm trying to
Because
focus on all that.
the first part is just to see, to know them, to know and to see, and not to make that automatism makes us what they want, because every part of us have his program, have his script, copy on script. And every part, if you don't look at that, want to make what they want, what they feel, because every has a different taste, have a different way to be in the life. And so with our higher self, we have to take the volante. How do you say volante?
The wheel.
The wheel, and help us to make that our mission can go up.
And to be honest, Gazzella, I think many of the people who, like me, before I get introduced to Damanhur Harmonic Circle Academy, I've met, I was, in my mind, it was, I'm one person. I need to be integer, I need to be honest, and I need to always align with what I said. And I used to believe people around me who changed their minds and all that, they are not, And then the day where I discovered it's frustrating. Why am I going in this direction? I want to bring it back here. And I used to feel this kind of stuff. Then slowly, the more I knew and the more I understood these parts, the more also I accepted these parts, the less they had imprint on me, the less they had power on me. And today, I really believe, and I can see the different parts in me. I can see when they act in certain okay with changing my mind. I'm okay with not being consistent all the time. I'm okay with allowing one of them to just express themselves in a way that is not perfect, but I'm allowing them to be also. And this gives a freedom that I hope now is gather all these parts of me, and we can decide together, driven by our higher self, our essence, where do we want to go? So yeah.
I think it's important not to give them a lot of power. Also, the part of us that say that we are not perfect, we are imperfection, we are imperfect. I see that we have not to give a lot of power, because I know that very well, because now I speak in this way, but it's just a new conquer for me. And also your invite for me is a challenge that I chose, because I understand that there is a power or no. I say that there are two power in our life: the power of yes and the power of no. The power of no is to be able to put the boundary around us, to see yes when we feel really that we want to see yes, but to be able to say no when we feel to that. And in my new way to think, I think that I can say yes, the power of yes, when the afraid of something is just a part of personality that doesn't help me to grow. And so example, you invite me. You remember that I say I want to think about that. After I said to you, yes, I can. Remember, because I chose the power. Yes, because I thought that the time that I need to think if attend to come was just afraid.
Yes, the fear.
Because fear, because I don't speak English very well, because I'm shy, because, but that are just a way that makes me not to grow, not to go in my goal. So I decide to use the power of yes. But in this time, I use also the power of no. The power of no is that if sometimes I don't feel to do something that I feel that is not really congruent with what I feel inside, I don't do. I can say no. In the past, I couldn't, because it's like that I'm not adequate. Si dice adequata.
Yeah. You're not nice, you're not adequate. No. Yeah, I can understand.
Because the consideration of the other was so important that makes me in a condition to say yes also when I don't feel that. But now I think that very important is the consideration that we have inside of us, about us. And I think also that it's important that we start to see our talent, and make that also if we can't make something with our talent in this moment, I think that dream our mission in the future is important, because that is a way to clean the way that can bring us there.
I really like what you're saying about the power of yes and the power of no. And I, like you, I struggle a lot with, like, I used to struggle a lot with the no, because I want to be loved. I want to be liked. And so I used to say yes a lot. And now I'm saying no more, but I'm having, like, after I say no, I'm like, yeah, well, then I should have said yes. They will hate me. They will not call next time. Huh?
Fault. You feel fault.
Exactly.
In one part of you, you don't feel okay, but you feel fault to say no.
Because I'm afraid. It's the fear of being abandoned, or a fear of rejection, or fear, like, it's all about fear, when it comes to the things that I ask a lot myself, this decision, am I making it? This guides me a lot sometimes in making a decision. Gazzella, you're a piece of gold, like me, or like all of us, but like every piece of gold, there are some cracks in it. These, what we call the imperfection. What is, in this moment in your life, what is the imperfection that you are most struggling with?
I can't say imperfection, but I change also my language. I mean, my body in this moment is not what I'd like to have, because I have come si dice malattia? Disease. I have a disease that makes me not completely in strong with that. But I use that. I use the disease just to know much more about something. It's like an opportunity for me. When I knew that, I told you about Parkinson. Yeah. 2 years ago, a doctor told me that I have a diagnosis of Parkinson. But if in that moment I was touched about that, because Parkinson, you see people that trema, yeah. But after that, the first moment, I accept this like an opportunity for me to understand much more about my life. And really, it happens that this kind of research opened my new world, my new way to think, my new way to feel, my new way to solve problem in the past. So, you ask me what you feel like imperfection. Yeah, I feel that my body doesn't respond how I would. Chiaro?
Sì, chiaro,
My
molto
body doesn't. Okay, but I use that like an opportunity to go in another point of my way. I think that the life is much more intelligent than us. The life, in the sense, the field, the quantic field, is very intelligent, and that all the things that happens in our life has one meaning for us. One meaning is just what we need. If we accogliere, if we open our heart at that, and try to make new comprehension of what happens. And so I accogliere, I put on myself new experience, also that can consider negative for the much more, per la maggior parte delle persone, and I use that. So the imperfection are also opportunity.
Exactly. That's the whole point of the Imperfect podcast. And it comes from an experience where I also used imperfections in my life to grow. But it's like what you're saying, Gazzella, is very important. It's very important. Like, it's really the key to unlock a lot of potential and a lot of value in which is, whenever we have a situation, even if it's a difficult situation, even if it's a constraining situation, even if it's a situation that is against the plans, the imagination, the thoughts, the feelings we had in this moment and about ourselves, about the future, even in this case, we take our time to absorb the effect of the situation, but we try to ask ourselves, what is this situation trying to teach us? What is the opportunity for growth that I can have from this situation? But Gazzella, it's so fucking, because it's imperfect, difficult when you are in the middle of a tsunami or a very bad situation to say to yourself, hey, yeah, I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm going to try to learn from it. You're devastated at the beginning, no?
Yes, it's in the first time, it's not so easy. But I think that if you have just idea that that you can open your heart all of the things that happens to you, that is just what you need, that you believe in that, you move much in a fast way from that part. I think that our healing is not to be calm all the time, to be all serenity, that life is happiness. But I think that is like a sea that we can navigare. You say navigate the sea. You can navigate with the sun, the rain, with la pioggia, con la neve, con le onde alte, with the wave. It's but the ship as una meta, is a place where she have to go. The
Yeah, the
ship,
direction.
the
The ship
direction.
has a direction, despite all
Yeah.
the rain, the atmosphere,
Yeah.
etc. It goes up and down, it slows down, but there is a direction. And even if we don't know this direction, there is a direction, right?
Yeah. And you have to remember, you have to connect at the point in which you felt that you are connected with your higher self. Every of us, I think, not every of us, but the people like you, like people that attend this podcast, I think are open and they want to grow, they want to show their mission. So I think that it's very useful to remember that. Ancorare, we can anchorate our part in the moment in which we can be real in inner self. And when we are in another part, we remember that we are not only in that. When we felt bad, it seems that we are all the time we have to stay there. But remember that we are not only there, it's just a way.
What you're saying here, Gazzella, is I think is very, very important. Let me try to rephrase it and just ask a few questions, because I'm so curious to know more. Because this is the key. For me, this is the key for a successful life. The key for a successful life is to know how to grow from positive and negative experiences, because at the end of the day, positive and experiences are the two sides of the same stick. You know, we cannot have always positive. We cannot have always negative. It's two parts of the same stick. So the idea is for us to let's use the word imperfection because it's the title of the podcast, to use these experiences or these imperfections in our lives to grow. And whenever we are in a situation where our mind is blocked because of the negative situation, because it's too much, remind ourselves that this is just a part of us and that this will not last forever. This moment is like that, but it doesn't mean I have to stick to this part, or it doesn't mean that this situation will last forever. And then while we're doing this, we can shift our attention to our higher self and believe that it's very important to believe, which is, I think, is the most difficult thing, is to believe that we're going in the right direction, even if we don't know what is this direction.
But in one part of you, if you saw that just another moment, you remember that there is a direction. You forget that when you are in the tempesta. When you felt bad, you forget, but in another part, you know that there is direction because you felt that in another moment of your life. So
even if you don't put words on it, right? Even if you cannot describe it, That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that there are two things very important when you start to make a challenge, a new step. One is intention. The second one is belief. Intention, the power of intention is very important because it's like choice, intention, belief. is a way to move our life in the direction of our mission. It's the intention is much more important than what we think.
Yeah, true. But the problem with the belief part is that sometimes we have a baggage of X years of negative beliefs and limiting beliefs. And not even like with you, we did some exercises, not only in our lifetime, but also from ancestors and past lives. And we have really a strong baggage of beliefs, and still we need to change these beliefs to make them more empowering. It's so difficult. No?
Yeah, that's true. I think that my goal in my life is to be free all many things that my life, my this life, my past life, my belief in this and in the past life makes to me inside and makes no free. I'd like to be free of all this kind of belief, of this kind of emotion. And that need a work that you have to do inside of you, of course.
What kind
because
of work?
until it's not too easy. What kind?
What kind of
What
work?
kind
Can you
of
give us
work you
two
mean?
examples so that people can relate a little bit or can try at home?
Yeah, the first is observe themselves, observe ourselves. Observation is the first step that I think is very important, and give people the first power, because to be only in our personality makes us to be automatic, like robot, inside. Instead, if we start to observe our personality, know them, makes us in a condition to be in a process of healing, because you are not only there, but you can observe them, like the works that we made in the harmonic circle for many years, Gurdjieff or other many spiritual schools speaks about the power of observe themselves. The second step is to know much more our personality. And I think now that I made this work for many times, but I felt also that it was not so not enough, because sometimes our emotion, our belief move us. So now I use dowsing to release emotion or to transform belief. And that is one way. Another way is familiar constellation. Familiar constellation. I don't know exactly, but I think it's very important also that kind of come si dice?
Exercise.
Metodo. Yeah, exercise. Yeah. And also, I think I'd like to share with you the way to see that our fragility is not only fragility, but also a strength. In my life now, I feel that what I thought in the past that was imperfection, like my sensibility, my vulnerable part, now I want to make that it becomes my strong part. I mean that I have not to hide, nascondere, not to hide, but show, and not to have paura, you say? Fear.
Afraid. Not being
Paura,
afraid
come
of
dici? Come si Yeah.
not
but,
being afraid.
Not to be afraid, but make that I can show that.
Gazzella, it's a very important point. I am a man who shows his vulnerability, but sometimes this vulnerability is used against me. So there is a reaction in my body sometimes that thinks now, like especially in work or at work environment, and because we live in a world that doesn't praise vulnerability. So what do you say to the people who try to express and use this vulnerability as strengths, but then receive from the outside world some reaction that are not empowering? How do we deal with?
I think that it's connected with the consideration of other person. If we start to put much more consideration about from us and not outside, that it becomes strong of us. So if I'm in a part in which I don't need approbation all the time, I think that everybody likes approbation of other people, but if I need of that, it's no good, because all my I'm too much depend from the consideration of the other. I think that the first step is consideration of ourselves, much more autostima, how to say autostima?
Self-esteem.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think it's much more easy to guide what happens also in the external part of us in events.
Yeah, you killed me with your answer. It's true that like sometimes I ask my kids when they come to me and they say, "Oh my, I get angry and frustrated," and I tell them, "Hey, if somebody tells you don't have a hand, would you be worried?" No, saying, easier to say it to somebody else than to apply it to yourself, but it's true. And if we have our self-esteem and we have our consideration inside, we can express more freely our vulnerability.
Yeah, I think that our society is connected much more with the male part. We spoke in the past about that. Patriarchal part, male part, in which you have to perform, you have to be in one way. But I think also that we are in a transition moment in which we can open much more our heart, and we need of that. We need a feminine part that has compassion, that has gentleness, that has amorevolezza, amore, love, friendship, no competition. You remember our slogan, my success, that is success of the other, and the other success is my success.
And Gazzella, open our heart, because I think it's the key for everything, to open our hearts. And we've had a lot of discussions about that. So what are the one or two simple things that you can tell people who feel their heart is closed?
I think that one simple thing is just breath, respirare. That we start to connect, because normally we are out of us. And il respiro, the breath, put us in connection. I don't know if you hear about not only the breath, the heart math that they spoke
Yes,
about is a center in America that make many study about coherence of heart and brain. Do you know that?
yes.
Do you
Yeah,
understand?
you told me
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I think that just 5 minutes every day in which we make the consciousness breath, in which we want to make that come from our heart. You start to breathe deeply, and you put attention your heart, and think that the breathing comes from your heart. And for 5 minutes in which you say you have exhale and inhale for 5 minutes, 5 exhale and 5 inhale, circular breathing, and you make us in connection with our body, our heart, our brain, that they connected, and makes just in a calm. You put inside you the calm. It's just to give a simple method, not many things, but just that for every day, I think it could be very useful.
So I will
And
put the link in the
I have
in the description.
yeah.
Yeah,
Listen,
please.
I'd like when we finish this. I'd like that you put, if you like. I didn't know. I didn't say you before. The that song. That song, "I'm a Queen." Do you remember that I sent to you? "I'm a Queen."
Yes, yes,
That is a
yes.
song in which I think that to finish this podcast with that, it could be very nice for people. I can
Okay,
send
I
to
will
you
do that.
if
I have it. I have it. We will
you
do
have,
it
but
together.
I think that yeah, I can send because I prepared because I thought that it was very nice. I
Okay,
can send to you now.
perfect. And I will put the link of the heart math in the description of the podcast for everyone
Yeah,
who is interested to exercise this
yeah, but
technique that is really
people can also find in the web coherence, cardiac coherence, or coherence brain and heart. That there are many meditation about that. Allora ti mando Ziad. Okay, I sent to you.
perfect. Just it. I'm curious. Like we live in a world. Like I used to be the perfect product of the system in which we live. You know, I was a good student, disciplined, follow the rules. I'm honest. I'm ambitious. I want to get more money, better title. And I thought this is amazing. And I think the majority of the people are still living in the system. I went
Yeah,
to the zoo 2 weeks ago with my kids and I saw the animal. It's a beautiful zoo, a very beautiful zoo in France.
yeah,
Small light, happy about it. And we were watching them, you know, scratching their balls, eating, sleeping. And I was like, what the heck? It's our world. You know, we live in this world. You know, we think that we are in this heaven. We think that we are only tools for others to get where they want. So for people who are starting to ask themselves questions, who are part of the system and that are starting to ask themselves questions today, what do you tell them? Gazzella, when you talk about action, so we shall leave our work, leave our wife, leave our family, and go to the jungle?
no, not of course, not of course. I mean, no, I mean when I say action, I mean that I remember one sentence of Raymond Grace. Raymond Grace is a dowsing man, very famous in the United States, that say, if you do something, something can happen. If you don't do anything, anything happen.
Yeah, true, true. So even small steps is good to
Of
start the change.
course,
Gazzella,
yeah.
as a last question for you, you mentioned that the world is in a transition from masculine energy. We need more and more feminine energy. And I know from our discussions that in this transition, the role of light workers is very important, the people who will accompany this transition. Can you tell us a little bit more about that to give us some hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, of course. I'm really convinta.
Convinced.
I believe that this time is a very nice time to live because it's a transition from humanity in a new way to be. Because people can't go on in this way, struggle, war, competition, things in everything, work work very competition, people that think so only about money and success. So I think that we are in a transition, and many of us, like you, like me, like I think many of the people that show us today are people that are connected with this transition, and we have the power and the mission to make that it happens. And it could be happen in many things. If you have a doctor, if you are a doctor, example, you can bring innovation in that field. It means that you can open new field of research in that camp. So in every field we have talent. We can bring a new way to new paradigm. And I think that also the best things that happen in this moment, war, other things like that, have one reason. They happen not just because they help people to understand much more, to become much more consciousness. Because what happens is so impossible to understand, And but it's this time put also us in a condition to see what happens real, because we have media that can help us to see much more what in the past was hid. So a lot of things also after the COVID. People become much more consciousness about the life, about what happens around, and we have the power to change, just to start from us. We have not to wait that the societies change, but if every of us change and put the scenes of new paradigm, we can have a transition in another way, in another place.
Let's hope for the best. Gazzella, thank you for this hope message at the end of this podcast. Thank you for being with us. At the end of the podcast, usually I try to summarize, to gift back to my guest a summary of the main things that we have said, and I will try to do it despite the fact that this episode was really intense and rich in learnings. We started, Gazzella, to talk with you about, you presented, you introduced yourself in a very beautiful way, saying that you are a piece of gold like all of us. We are a piece of gold. And why you are a piece of gold? Because you put your intention to connect with your higher self, with your essence, which is the piece of gold. But you also are aware that you have many other different parts in you. And the whole point in your life is to try to balance these different parts, to accept them, but also not to let them take the lead and drive the wheel. Your higher self to be driving the wheel. And this is what you've been working on the last couple of years. Then we spoke about imperfection, and your imperfection in this moment in your life is a disease that you have in your body. But you manage in a very courageous way to transform this disease into a power, an opportunity for you to grow, to know yourself more, to your limits more, and to grow from the experience. And from this, we spoke about how each one of us can, in their life, whenever there is a situation outside of their control that is not very positive, is to accept this, to make the parts in us that want to lament and get very crazy about what's happening and all that, let them be, but then also know that we have a different part in us that can also learn from this experience and grow from this experience. Then we spoke about the world in which we live today, the crazy world that is praising masculinity, power, greed, ambition, money, competition, and how anyone who is today in the system and that is starting to ask themselves question how they can start the change. How? It's very easy with an action. And you gave us a quote of, if someone does something, something can happen. If someone does nothing, nothing can happen. So let's start with something, even if it's a small thing. That's the key for change. And lastly, you gave us a real message of hope, and you said that we are living in a very interesting period of the humanity lifetime, despite all the negativity, despite all the destruction, despite wars. Why? Because people are starting to awake, people are starting to see things in a different angle, be more awake, conscious about what's happening. And you believe that in this way, with the help of the light workers, which each one in his own talent can do, to help the humanity go from darkness to light. Thank you so much.
Complimenti per la sintesi.
Grazie.
Davvero. You have
Grazie.
a big talent in that, really.
Thank you, Gazzella. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your gold. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your presence. It was great to have you here. And hopefully we're going to do more of these sessions if you are okay with that.
Grazie. Grazie
How
per
was your
l'invito.
experience? You who had doubt at the beginning, how was your experience?
Was that it was much less than I thought.
Well, less difficult than you thought.
It was good. It was good experience for me.
And you were amazing, and thank you so much for your trust. And now we're gonna finish by putting some music.
Good. Yeah.
And
I'm a queen.
I'm a queen. It was very difficult for me at the beginning to hear it, knowing that I'm a man. I should be a king, but in fact, I'm a queen.
Yeah, but I'm a queen. It's for men and women.
For
Okay.
both.
Con
Thank
te,
you.
con voi.
Thank you.
Posso staccare? Bye.
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 In this magical moment, I am here for myself. My heart is full of light.